I'm recording.
All right. We'll go 3, 2, 1.
And welcome everybody back to WTL. Where's the line? I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Gibran.
the Parlay Pounder.
You know it. We're back.
Nebraska's only sports betting show. And here we go. Week 2, right, of college football.
Yes, sir.
Week 1 of NFL.
Oh, the real stuff.
Real NFL.
Yeah.
None of that preseason.
Yes, sir.
Or week 0 garbage.
Yep.
Churching it up there, a little French garbage. But anyway, we're getting into the real deal here, and we're starting it off with the bang. It's the only way the NFL does it.
Yes, they know how to draw folks in, and they know how to get the season started right. We got 2 of the best teams in the
NFL, one from the AFC, one from the NFC, the defending champions, Los Angeles Rams, playing at home against the Buffalo Bills.
Hosting Buffalo Thursday night to kick off the NFL season.
Yeah.
And these 2 teams, I think they have like the highest odds as far as matching up in the Super Bowl.
Yes, for sure. This is definitely the best 2 odds makers in both sides of the NFL to make the Super Bowl. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Thursday night, NBC, SoFi Stadium, 7:30 kickoff.
Yep.
I think there's some streaming that you can get in.
Yeah, I think
along
Amazon
with that as
Prime
well.
has it as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's, and once again, the NFL just ahead of the curve here are making sure everybody can consume as much football as possible, however they can.
Yep.
And we have the Buffalo Bills, kind of curious here, on the road as the favorite. 2.5, you got the hook.
Yeah, minus 2.5 in the favor of the Bills, like you're saying. Mm-hmm. We have an over-under of 52 points, which isn't very surprising, knowing that both these offense can really score the football. Andy, I really, as good as the Buffalo Bills are, and I know you're probably not going to like this, but as good as the Buffalo Bills are, I do not like a road team being favored in the Week 1 matchup against the defending Super Bowl champs.
And across the entire nation. There's some truth to that travel deal, and you can't travel further than Buffalo to L.A.
No, you can't. Especially after, the Rams just had that, magical season or whatever, and they're trying to load up again, and they got the stars. They're in L.A. I really like this 2.5. If I'm getting the points.
You are. You're getting the points if you like the Rams.
Even if I started a football parlay on Thursday to run through the entire weekend, I like the plus 115 money line for the Los Angeles Rams just to win this game outright.
Okay, yeah. And then on the other side, the juice isn't so sweet. It's minus 135 for Buffalo. So you're getting that plus money for the LA Rams. Why don't you take a quick minute here and kind of explain the difference here on the money line?
So with the money line, the Rams being the underdog here with the plus 115 is that if you risked $100, you would win $115.
Okay.
On the opposite side of that, Andy, if the Buffalo Bills win and you did put a bet on them at that minus 135, you would have to risk $135 to win just $100.
Right, and that's known as the VIG, the vigorish, or the juice.
Yes.
So you have to wager that $35 or risk that additional $35 to win that 100. That's what we're getting at. That's what we're saying here. And the reason that the Bills are at a premium and the Rams you're getting that $15, if you will, is because they're the favorites. Buffalo Bills are the favorites, and they're the road team. And I like what you're saying and where you're going with it as far as traveling. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Thursday night, kind of a goofy date, right?
Yeah.
And, by the way, you're going up against the Super Bowl defending champs.
Yes, for sure.
So there's a lot of things to point to there.
There is a lot of things to point to, but let me flip on the other side here, Andy, and I'll give you the reason the Buffalo...
You're already flip-flopping.
No, I'm not flip-flopping. I like the Rams. But the reason that the Buffalo Bills are favorite here is Josh Allen. Josh Allen is probably the best player in the NFL going into this year. Just look at what he did at the end of the 2022 season. Just simply 2 incredible games in the playoffs against the Patriots and Chiefs. 637 passing yards, 77% complete percentage, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 149 passer rating. That is why they're favored. They think this guy is unstoppable, but there's another guy on the other side of the ball named Aaron Donald.
Yeah. I mean, but he's not going to be able to just play whack-a-mole with a Bengals helmet.
I don't think he can take off two helmets and go after him.
He can't do that.
No, he can't, but he doesn't really need to when he's just lining up against one person. He was taking on an entire team there in Cincinnati. This is such a good...
brother.
This is such a good way to start off the NFL season, and I'm so happy that it's here.
Strength on strength here.
Yep.
Now, I do want to play a little, and I want to pile on there with the Josh Allen deal. Not only does he have a passer rating of 149, over nearly 700 yards his last two games, he was also running the ball.
Yes.
He is such a threat with his legs. It shocks a lot of people that he outrushed Lamar Jackson the last 2 years. And people just label Lamar as a running quarterback. It's like, oh, no.
Just a running back,
Yeah, Josh Allen outrushes him year in and year out. Okay, and on top of that, has that 149 passer rating when it mattered most.
Yes.
Down the stretch in the playoffs. I mean, didn't you feel bad for the guy? Like, he should have beat the Chiefs.
He should have beat the Chiefs.
It all would have been him, and no one would have argued with that.
And they probably would have won the Super Bowl, but who knows? It was all... What a crazy game. We were watching that game. It was just nuts.
So I'm going to go with the most scientific argument I've ever made here.
Yeah.
And this is why you're wrong. Once again, I'm sorry you started off again.
Yep.
It's called the Super Bowl hangover.
Okay.
And the Rams have it, and they're going to have it in a bad way.
Wow.
Like the weight has been lifted off of that guy that came in from Detroit.
Yep.
The interception machine couldn't win the big game.
Yeah.
Right? And now he's like, piss on him.
Well, what do I need to do anymore? I'm the man.
I've already done it. Josh Donald's also playing with house money. He's like, you know what? I'm willing to just sit out a season unless you pay me more money.
Yeah.
Pay me more money. So they came around and paid him more money somehow. Like, I don't know how the salary cap just allows L.A. to keep signing all these guys and giving them max contracts.
It works for them,
It's working. I guess, whatever.
It works.
But I just think there's so many little things here. Didn't their number 2 receiver, he's not on the team anymore?
Odell Beckham is now.
No, he's not signed, but Woods, is he still on the roster?
No, Robert Woods plays for the Tennessee Titans.
Exactly.
But they brought in your guy, Allen Robinson, which is another very high market wide receiver and has been wanting to make that next leap in his career. Sure. And there's no better way to do that with Matt Stafford in the Rams.
And I get that, but that also takes time and chemistry. And the LA Rams, I mean, their little McVay guy, the coach, the intense dude.
Yeah.
He doesn't play starters in the preseason.
No.
And that includes Allen Robinson II.
For sure.
So that chemistry still needs to build. Buffalo Bills still have that sour taste in them. I like the Bills, even though they're traveling and they're on the road. And for 9 times out of 10, I am taking the home team here.
Yeah.
And I still like the Rams, and I like them a lot.
Okay.
I would not be surprised to see them in the playoffs making a deep run. But in this spot right here, right now, I think the Buffalo Bills are kind of going to, in a weird way, sneak up on them and serve them their medicine.
Okay. Holy moly.
There you go.
Yeah. A couple things here, Andy. Just as it's because it's the first NFL game of the year, I really like some of these prop bets that they're coming out for the first night. It's big, blow it off the roof, all you can do in LA.
Yes.
And it's about a guy that you were just talking about.
Where's my D-Gens?
That doesn't have the, quite the, stuff with Stafford yet, like Cooper Kupp does.
My Matt Stafford?
Yeah. I'm talking Allen Robinson II, over 60.5 receiving yards. I think it's going to hit. I think it's going to hit easy. I think it's one of the easiest plays of the year. I think they're going to be doubling up Kupp. Kupp's still going to get his. He's still going to get 90, 95 yards, something like that.
Yep.
But his prop's right there at 100. I don't like putting a lot of money on that to go over 100. But this Allen Robinson, he's gonna break open a couple of these times, and this could happen on 2 catches. 60.5.
I know it could.
Yep.
And it's a different scenario than what he's been dealing with in Chicago the past couple of years.
For sure.
But man, that was few far in between him knocking down 65 yards a game.
Oh, no doubt.
It was tough.
No doubt.
It was really tough. And I get it. He's going to want it, but I just don't know if it's all going to come together. And you're shortchanging the Buffalo defense. That's one of the strengths of their team.
But their best corner is out. Tre'Davious White does not get to play
this is
this
part of your
week.
argument.
And now their second corner is going to have to be lined up against Cooper Kupp with putting a safety over top of him. Now Allen Robinson is one-on-one easy money, 60.5.
They still don't do it. They still don't do it. They never double team Cup. They never put the number 1 on it. And, as soon as they don't bracket him, they'll bracket him. They'll give him that respect. And as soon as they take that bracket off, ask the Cincinnati Bengals about
How
that.
that happened.
Yeah, they did that twice.
Yeah.
He made that play.
I'm just looking for him to have this kind of Odell Beckham kind of, uptick in yards. So.
All right. Well, I can sidestep that. You can play all you'd like. Any other props?
I do.
These are fun.
I have an over-under of passing touchdowns at 1.5 for Matt Stafford.
Over. That's over.
Go over.
I mean, I know I was throwing shade at my boy Matty there, but no, he is.
He's having 2 passing touchdowns for sure.
Can we finally call him elite? Can he finally be called an elite quarterback?
Call him elite.
I mean,
I know that.
He won the Super Bowl, right? He got the monkey off his back.
I can call him that. So those are my 2 prop bets that I really like in this game, Andy, and I'm sticking to them.
All right. Well, we got a little bit of time here. We're going to try and dive into some college football Friday night.
Let's get some Friday night college football down. I know it's not, the sexiest pick or whatever, but people are going to be wanting to watch this game. It's Friday night football. Let's get into it.
Louisville, taking on UFC in Orlando Friday night, ESPN2, 6:30 kickoff. Yes, that is the UCF that we're all well aware of. And they are the favorite. The Knights are the favorite at -5.5 over the Cardinals.
Yep. In week 1, the Louisville Cardinals just opened up to a humiliating defeat to the hands of the Syracuse Orangemen in the Carrier Dome. And now they have a deal with a second straight hostile environment going into UCF that's kind of built up over the years, as we know. So this is a pretty hard back-to-back schedule for them. UCF took care of business in its home opener against FCS South Carolina State, covering the massive 43.5-point spread in a 56-10 victory. But is making the Cardinals 6.5-point dogs or 5.5-point dogs an overreaction? I think it is. I really do think it is. I think Malik Cunningham, the quarterback for the Louisville Cardinals, is probably one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in all of college football.
Okay.
Just could not get it going against Syracuse. I really do think he gets it going on here. I think they cover. I want the 5.5 points towards Louisville.
All right, so you're not picking outright. You're taking the points.
I'm
you're
taking the points.
Back pocket. Yeah, points forced. UCF 56. Louisville 7.
Yes.
Man, that is a stark contrast.
It is.
And then you look at the line, it's 5.5. You're thinking, well, that might be more than fair.
Yeah.
But I like what you're saying there. Anything else that you're looking at here?
Well, I'm just really going off Cunningham here. He is much better than he showed last week. The senior signal caller had almost 3,000 yards passing last year, and I know that he can bounce back.
Well,
the turnovers that he had last week were uncharacteristic, and just throwing 6 picks last week.
Yeah, that doesn't always happen.
It doesn't always happen. I just really like this spot for him to bounce back, take the points, and sit on him.
All right, you heard the horn, so we're up against it. What about the money line real quick? Plus 200 for the Cardinals is what I'm looking at.
I think it's going to come down to a field goal game, Andy. So if you like Louisville in this spot to win, take that plus money. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to take the points because I really think this is going to be decided in the last seconds on either a field goal for UCF or a field goal towards the Cardinals.
All right, I like it. Hey, let's take a quick minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners. That is Play Action Pools, as they are revolutionizing group hosting platforms. Make it your new spot for all your football contest needs. Play today at playactionpools.com. Don't go in there, folks. This is WTL.
2, 1.
And welcome everybody to WTL. Where's the line? I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
Gibran.
Oh, the parlay. The parlay pounder.
Yep.
Nebraska's only sports betting show. And here we go. Going to talk some Saturday college football, some big games to kick things off here.
Yeah, some really big ones. 2 of the biggest brands in college football, obviously.
The brand.
We have Alabama going into Austin, Texas to play the Longhorns, Andy.
For an 11 o'clock kickoff on Fox. You know, a lot of times you see those 11 o'clock kickoffs, that's kind of filler, or you know what I'm used to watching.
Kind of like Nebraska,
Yeah, Nebraska, North Dakota or something like that.
Yeah.
So kind of curious, but a neat way to kick off the day. Nonetheless, like you said, 2 of the biggest brands, Alabama coming to town to play Texas. And you know what? Everybody's harping on the SEC. Hey, why don't we play more true road games? Why don't we get out there and Nick Saban's like, okay, where can we go?
Yeah, where can we go? Who wants to play us?
Oh, Austin Tech. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, my old assistant coach.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. And how about this 20-point line we're going to serve you?
Yeah. Yep.
Second game of the season.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, Andy. Yeah, the Alabama Crimson Tide come in as a 20.5 favorite on the road.
Yeah.
Check out this over-under, Andy. 65.5 points.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of defense in this game is what bookies and everybody are kind of saying.
How can that be, though?
The whole thing about it is, Andy, is that everybody knows that the Alabama has the offense to do this.
Right.
Texas is hitting on all waves right now, or supposed to be anyways, with a healthy Bijan Robinson in the backfield. Quinn Ayers is probably one of the best prospects in the nation right now at quarterback.
Okay.
And then Xavier Worthy is among the best wide receivers in college football. So they do have a three-headed monster that can put up a lot of points, but I will be watching to see if they can do it against Alabama.
One of the better players, and we talked about him in a previous episode, for Heisman hopefuls, is on the defensive side for Alabama.
One of their linebackers. Alabama.
I get it, though. Texas scored 52 points in their opener.
Yeah.
Alabama scored 55. So you're thinking, well, this line could be up at around 100.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but those weren't against defenses like Alabama or even Texas.
Right, for sure. And my whole thing, Andy, looking at this game, you think Alabama's going to flinch an instant if Texas hits them with an 80-yard bomb?
Right.
I mean, no. This is one of the best college football teams, one of the best legacy college football teams still going. Yes, Texas will have its moments, and that will melt down social media and say, oh, Bama's on the ropes,
Sure.
Bama's on the ropes. But Alabama will keep coming. They never stop.
Are you saying there's a hype machine in Texas?
There definitely is. Texas will connect on a few big plays is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Alabama will connect all day on little ones for the full 60 minutes. I really think that they do keep Bijan Robinson, the Texas running back.
check.
I think they keep him bottled up.
Yeah.
The running game will take over for Alabama in the third quarter. Bryce Young will come with he'll just be ultra efficient like he always is. I just think that Alabama wins this game right around like 42-20, something like that.
Yeah.
But that's really close to that line there, Andy.
Yeah,
so I don't know where I'm going, but right now I am teetering towards the Crimson Tide covering this 20.5.
Yeah, covering that. Well, there's absolutely no value on the money line, the straight up.
No.
You're looking at a minus 1,500 right now for Bama.
No.
So that means you're going to bet $1,500 to win 100?
Yeah, no. I don't have the cash flow to do that or the mind to do that.
The bankroll.
Yeah.
And hey, all you hook 'em horns people out there, you get plus 850.
There you go.
Hey, I'm not going to call you crazy. I'll just call you something else if you want to bet on Texas here.
Yeah, no. That's the way it is, Andy. It just I know that Alabama's going to win this game. It's just how much and how long Texas can hang with them.
Yep.
If Texas really starts fast, this could come down to, a one touchdown, maybe, a 10-point game.
Yeah, but they're on the road. They are on the road.
That would make sure that Texas has a very fast start. And if they want this game to be close, they have to.
So many things have to happen.
Yeah.
And is this year 2 for Steve Sarkisian?
Yes, it is.
We hinted at him, the old assistant.
Yep.
And he, whatever fall from grace at USC, but he's gotten himself dried out now. He's back in the fold. And we bring these guys up a couple of different times, and we've had a few of them on our program before. The guys out of VSiN.
Yeah.
Their power ratings, which so much analytics and writers go into this, and the higher your score, the closer to 100 you are, the closer you are to an elite team. Mm-hmm. Alabama is sitting at a 76.
Very close.
Texas is at 57.
Right.
So, that's a huge, huge gap there as far as power ratings.
Yeah.
And I know power ratings aren't the end-all, be-all, but they're a really good indicator, especially when you're looking at ones like coming out of VSiN.
Right.
And they're virtually saying, and so is that money line, saying Bama's going to win.
Yes.
The question is by how much.
Exactly.
And this could be a mercy rule type of deal where Alabama is winning by 4 touchdowns early in the third quarter.
Yeah.
and
cuts it to 2.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where this is. I lean more on that. Like, this could be a blowout type of scenario early, and then they call the dogs off and let Texas get some junk points, some garbage points.
Exactly, Andy. And that's why I don't really like the over-under here, Andy. Yeah. If I had to do anything, I would lean towards the under, but some people might call me crazy for that just because of these two high explosive offense. But I think that Alabama gets off to a really good start here, and it's that 35-3 kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
And we just stopped scoring points. So I don't want to be hung up on that 65.5 waiting at the end of the game for people to score points when people don't need to score points.
Yeah, and you don't want to be that guy and a girl meme either. And bet the
exactly.
Under.
Exactly. And I'm not about the under. So, no, if I did have a bet here, Andy, it would be leaning towards Alabama on the 20.5 points.
Stay away from the money line.
Yep. Yes, sir.
All righty, so I think we all kind of agree on that. This is kind of a tough spot there to really dive into it, but if you had to, Bama's probably the smarter way to go there and just hope that they score enough early on and can hold. All right, let's move on over to a future Big 12 matchup.
Yeah.
Coming out of Provo, Baylor. The Baylor Bears are traveling to BYU. This is the nightcap 9:15 kickoff on ESPN.
Yeah.
The mothership.
Yeah, Andy, and it's a top 25 matchup right here. Baylor coming in at number 9 and BYU sitting there at 21. Kind of a hangover or a carryover from last year with their very, very good team that they had last year. Baylor had a very good showing against an FCS school last week.
Let's see here. Yeah, they scored 69 points.
It was very, very hard to argue with that blowout there. BYU, they played USF. Itself was a challenging, but
they scored 50 points.
They did. BYU had to nearly wait like 3 hours for a rain delay, I believe. So it was kind of one of those games that didn't get off on track or whatever. But I really like the BYU Cougars.
It's at home.
Yeah,
I like that too. And both these teams are 1-0. I mean, it's early, 1-0.
Yeah. Against
the spread, ATS. They're both 1-0 on the hitting the overs.
For sure.
Okay, so you got two high-flying, confident offenses right here.
Yeah.
We know Baylor can stack it up.
Yeah.
I just think the BYU is coming off a pretty good season ago, and they've already hit their stride.
Yeah.
They had a great tune-up. You said it was kind of off-kilter there with the rain delay or whatever it was. But no, they're clicking on all cylinders again. It's going to be a rowdy game. Kind of a tough spot to play in Provo.
For sure. I think so too, Andy. I think this is going to be a very, very good game. I hope people didn't, take that as I think BYU's a lesser team. No, I do not. Mm-hmm. I think they're the better team here, but I do believe this is going to be a very, very good matchup. I'm looking at a 33-28 victory for BYU, which would mean that they cover the 3.
Yeah.
But I really like this game, and it's going to be really fun to watch this one late, even after the Husker game on Saturday.
Oh, it's a fantastic nightcap. Fantastic.
For sure. I love some top 25 football.
Yep. So, if you're going to go to the Husker game, then run on over the rail yard or wherever.
Yeah.
You got a heck of a game to watch there.
Love it.
Do we got enough time to get into UFC 279? Should we do it?
I think so. We have to.
Yes.
We have to.
The Parlay Pounder, man. Live up to your namesake here. 279 out of Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Yes. We got Jingliang Lee versus Tony Ferguson for the tune-up. For the tune-up to the main event, which was Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev. Tony Ferguson coming in at a plus 245 to win this fight.
Yep.
He's lost 4 in a row, Andy. This guy, the Leech, they call him, Lee. He's just
heavy favorite, minus 320 in the book I'm looking at.
Minus 320. There's not a lot of value into that, but I just don't see Tony Ferguson. He's coming up in weight class to face this guy after going 0-4 in his division.
Yeah.
I just don't really think it's...
Boy, that doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up. He just got slept by Michael Chandler the last time he was out. I think he's just looking for a road to get back on a winning streak, and I don't think this is the way.
Hasn't he lost his last 4?
Yes.
4 in a row?
Yes.
Okay, and meanwhile, you got the Leech coming off of a win.
Yeah.
He's taller. He's heavier. He's 15 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
That's why the odds are so out of whack here.
Tony's only path to victory here, Andy, is to pull guard and wrap up a submission. Tony is too tough for his own good, and this is far too soon for him to come back after Michael Chandler ending his life with a high kick to the face. As good as he looked in the first round of that fight, Tony's chin went a long way with this streak. Lee is going to win this.
He's going to punish him. Man, that last fight we watched Lee, I mean, that dude can take a punch.
He can do it.
My God.
And I think he's going to do it again. So if you have any money, I would just put it on Lee at that money line. I might even look at that over 2.5 rounds because I think he might end it sooner rather than later.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it's only a 3-round fight because it is the undercard here. So all that's saying is it doesn't go the distance, and I do think Lee might be able to finish Ferguson before the final bell rings.
All righty, let's move on to the main event.
All righty.
Chimaev versus Nate Diaz.
Yeah, Khamzat versus Nate Diaz. Everybody's blowing this kind of out of spectacle here, saying this is Nate's last fight in the UFC. I just watched an interview with him that they just had. He's not saying that. It's just his last fight on his contract. The whole thing with this is Nate Diaz asked for a whole bunch of different fights, and this is the one that Dana wanted for him to kind of up this Khamzat Chimaev's, this is your stepping stone. Nate Diaz is probably one of the best fighters ever. Yeah. Legend. Yeah. One of the best fighters ever. And if he beats him, this could project him to a whole new height of stardom.
Yeah, the Sweden's sitting at 11-0 in his professional UFC.
Yep.
Right, and then this is a big card. This is this payday. You know what I mean?
This is a big payday.
Yep.
Yeah, Khamzat is the real deal, obviously, but so is Nate Diaz, folks. He's sitting at a plus 750 underdog right now. Yeah. That is a lot of plus money to try and throw money at. A lot of people are going to call me crazy, but I am going to throw a little bit of money on this just because it might hit, just because. Okay, here's a little bit I'm going to go into.
Okay, explain it.
Nate has 10 years on Khamzat in this fight game, has a lot more experience, but also 3 times as many pro fights. Diaz will be dangerous off his back like he always is, trying to pull him in, trying to get a submission at any point.
Okay.
But my best bet of the night, Andy, isn't that plus 750. It is the over-under rounds on 1.5 rounds. Nobody has finished Nate Diaz in his whole career, and you're telling me that this new guy is going to knock him out in 1.5 rounds? I don't see it happening. Go over on the 1.5 rounds for Nate Diaz to make it. This is easy.
And that's all you're really looking at here.
That's I'm looking at.
All you're looking at. You're not looking for a win from Diaz. You're just looking for him to last more.
I definitely think he can win, but I'd be a crazy man to try and put a whole bunch of money on that plus 750. Yeah. I think the best bet of the night at UFC 279 is for Nate Diaz to make it out of round 2. And this Khamzat Chimaev has never fought in a 5-round fight in his life, and Nate has finished.
Yeah.
Close to
Conor,
50.
Yeah, I mean, he's finished Conor a couple of times.
Exactly.
McGregor, right?
Yep.
Okay, you heard the horn, so we're up against it.
Yeah.
Do you got a parlay play?
I do have a parlay play, Andy, and it is I'm going with Lee and that over-under on the Nate Diaz fight. You're going to throw $50 on it. You're going to come out with 90. I think it's a pretty safe play, and that's my parlay for the weekend.
And you know what I wish I could say?
Yeah.
Gibran, you ignorant schmuck. But this time I'll agree with you. I like the 2-leg parlay there. You're not getting too wild with it.
No, I'm not.
So don't go anywhere, folks. This is WTL.
2, 1.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
Gibran.
Ooh, the parlay pounder.
Sir.
And now we're going to get into some NFL action. Yep. Let's just get right into it.
For sure.
Green Bay going to Minnesota, Minneapolis.
Yep.
Fox. It's going to be on Fox. 3:25 kickoff in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty tight line like we thought it would be.
For sure.
But Green Bay is the favorite, the road favorite.
Yeah.
I have 2 is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, a lot of books have it at 2. I've seen some even go down to 1.5 towards the Vikings. By Sunday, Andy, I really think this might be a pick'em game. Yeah. Just because this is a divisional game in, I think a lot of money is shifting towards the Vikings right now on this line. Yeah. And I'm jumping on with it, Andy. Yeah. I am going to, just with the plus 1.5, I think they're going to outright win this game, and I can get this at plus money on most books right now for a plus 100 victory for the Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings? So, and to your point, I'm just looking up and down some different books here.
Yeah.
DraftKings already just moved it down to 1.5.
Yes.
And the handle still sits with Green Bay with 60% of the bets, but I think it's shifting.
Yeah.
That's why it's coming down.
No doubt about it, Andy.
And they're a road team.
Exactly. And I'm not, going crazy with this here. I really think this is going to be a, 31-28, 34-24 kind of victory.
So,
I think the Packers are going to be in the game.
Oh, sure, yes.
Because they're not going to be in it, but I do believe the Vikings just have a lot more on both sides of the field. Except for Aaron Rodgers.
Well, okay, but with that, Minnesota has a stronger, better offense. I don't think anybody would argue with that.
Yeah.
But then you think twice, you're like, but Aaron Rodgers plays for Green Bay.
Yes.
But I am saying that. You got Dalvin Cook, you got
Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins.
Osborne,
KJ Osborne.
Yeah, I mean, the burner on the outside there.
For sure.
Adam Thielen. Okay, so I like Minnesota here. I like the plus money.
Yeah.
And you're starting to see that +2 line dwindle away.
Yeah.
You're probably right. You're probably onto something. So if you're a Minnesota fan or you like that line, get in on it now because it's not that 3-hole. It's not,
it's not -3. It's not +3.
Nope.
No, it's sitting there right at +1.5. And I think odds makers are kind of backtracking this a little bit because they know that the Vikings should actually be the favorite in this game, not just because it's home, just because they do have the overall better team. The only reason that it is favored, just like we were talking about, they have the better quarterback and probably one of the best players in the NFL.
Yeah.
But that guy is surrounded by aging veteran Randall Cobb, a mid-2 wide receiver 2, Alan Lazard, and a handful of rookies that won't ease the pain for Rodgers.
And how about this? Lazard has a goofy injury that they're not talking about.
Yeah.
He hasn't been suiting up for practice, and they're not saying why.
Whoa.
So now your number one receiver is, what is he, like 85 years old?
I think
Cobb?
He's just as old as you are.
I mean, ouch. But yeah, before you know it, your number one might be a rookie out of Nebraska.
Exactly.
Shout out Samari Toure.
Exactly.
Making some waves in the preseason. What do you like about this over/under at 47?
Yeah, I like the over/under. I like the over in this, Andy, just because I know that the Vikings are going to put up points. I think the Vikings, no matter what, put up 35 points to 38 points.
Yeah.
And Rodgers will always keep it competitive.
Yes, he
won't let it get out of hand. He's not getting blown out by somebody in the NFC North. So I really like that 31-28 kind of victory there, which would go over that 47
It would
easy.
hit that over.
I just think Rodgers might be vacating this Iron Throne quicker than anticipating this year. And if you're going to bet against Rodgers, do it early in the year.
That's a great point as well. And I just think Minnesota's primed to have a good year. The pieces are together. I like their new coaching staff. I like where they're at. I like all of it.
Yes, sir.
And isn't that on par for the Vikings too?
It is.
If keeping it competitive when it shouldn't be. Especially a divisional game like that. So I like it all. I like hitting that over at 47. I also like Minnesota winning outright. The favorite is picked incorrectly on this one.
Yes.
Let's head on out west, sucker.
Yeah.
Kansas City taking on the Arizona Cardinals. That's also a 3:25 kickoff. This one's going to be on CBS.
Yeah.
And another road favorite, Kansas City, -6.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andy. If people were looking at this early in the week, they jumped on it and made a whole bunch of money because the Chiefs were only favored by 3.5 earlier in the week. I think for sure that they're going to cover that. They're definitely. I'm definitely looking at them covering 6 here as well. Yeah. I think they are the overall favorites, and I like the -6. That's all. Yeah, right off the gun. That's what I'm saying.
Here, once again, I'm just pulling some pretty outrageous stats here off of from DraftKings from their sportsbook. 71% of the bets are pouring in on Kansas City.
For sure.
Now, a lot of times when you see a shift like that, that's when you want to get away. Yeah. But you're still under that threshold of 6.5 or 7.
Yeah.
So
yes,
get it.
Yeah,
get the Chiefs.
Get it right now. They're going to win by a touchdown, and I think it might be maybe a little bit more than that. Right. Obviously, this is the NFL. It doesn't get poured on like in college football. You're not seeing 40-point spreads or anything like that, but 7 here for the Chiefs is not weird.
Right. And I also like something that got taken out of a contract during the offseason. Kyler Murray doesn't have to study his playbook.
No,
so
that's fine.
So if he doesn't have to study his playbook to take on the Chiefs, it's taken out of the contract. So even more the reason I like Kansas City here.
Yeah. One of my best bets here, Andy, is besides the Chiefs by a touchdown. I do kind of like the under here. I like the under 53.5 points. Yes, the Chiefs are averaging 28 points a game. Last year, while the Cardinals were 26, it's going to be a lot harder for them to score points with their dynamic weapon, DeAndre Hopkins, being out of this game. Beyond that,
was that steroids? What was that?
Something like PDs or something like that. But also on the other side, the Chiefs still have to figure out what they're going to do without Tyreek, see if this rookie wide receiver, see if Juju, all these guys can fit.
Sky Moore out of Western Michigan.
Exactly. And I think all these pieces are going to work for Kansas City, but it's going to take a little bit longer to figure this out. So I don't think that these two teams are skyrocketing points right away to 53.5. So I really like the Chiefs by 6, and I like the under as well.
Okay, but you might want to stay away from that end because you never know when those two offenses are going to go off. I get it, though, that there's some pieces need to come together for Kansas City. Some pieces are missing for Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah, PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. Bet his girlfriend didn't like that getting out in the open like that.
I'm guessing not.
My God.
I'm guessing not.
She's like, hey, bae, I'm not Frank Thomas yet.
I'm not.
God, right?
Doug Flutie, yeah.
All right, so we like Kansas City, but this line will probably shift like we're projecting, especially when it gets around kickoff.
I really think it's going to be over 7, Andy.
I mean, you're already looking at over 70% of the bets going in on Kansas City, and we're predicting even more so when it gets closer to kickoff.
Yeah.
You might see a swing, later on if it gets too high.
Yeah.
Especially on a road team.
No,
don't forget Kansas City is on the road.
No, exactly. And that's a good thing when you got to think about when betting NFL football, Andy. If you get a road team that is more than a touchdown favorite, a lot of those home teams are going to hone a lot of the bets because like we said, this isn't college football. There's not 40-point spreads. There's not even 14-point spreads. If there is, that team is really, really under the weather. So I like the Chiefs at 6. I like the under on 53.5. But, that's what it is.
All right. I will once again go along with that. I kind of like that over, though, just because Kansas City, and they can fill it up.
For sure.
All right. Let's roll on over to Monday night. The Denver Broncos are heading out to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. A lot of new places. And, wow, I think these two teams, did they make a trade or something?
They kind of flip-flopped, and it looks like the Broncos might have won this one.
Monday night, ESPN.
Yeah, so the ex-Seahawks legend, probably the best player that's ever played for the Seahawks franchise. Name another one.
Steve Largent.
Exactly. Russell Wilson, now starting quarterback for the Broncos. They are opening up with a 6.5-point favorite to go on the road to the Seahawks and win.
And that's all Russell Wilson.
And it's all Russell Wilson. Well, it's not so much Russell Wilson, is that Geno Smith is starting for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And this guy hasn't been a player since West Virginia. He had a run-in with the Jets, a run-in with whoever else he went to.
Texans or something?
Yeah, something like that. But, that's the reason that this spread is what it is. The Broncos, I think, have better overall pieces, and I think it's going to happen. I like the 6.5 towards Russell Wilson to go back to his hometown and kind of smack him.
Money line is at a minus 270 there for Denver.
Yeah.
So, once again, that's saying you're going to have to put up $270 to win 100.
For sure.
Don't know if I like the outright bet right there.
Yeah.
Boy, the over-under is at 44. That's pretty low.
It is. It is, Andy. And I think with good reason. I really don't see either of these teams really jumping out at the event. At the end of the day, the Broncos are seen right now as potential Super Bowl threats to, the Chiefs and the Chargers and, Bengals and everything. I don't think they're that good. I just know that Seattle's expected to be one of the worst teams in the NFC now that they've replaced Wilson with Geno Smith under center.
And they lost so much on the defensive side, too. They're not the defensive old. They haven't been for a few years now.
For sure.
But along with that, neither has Russell Wilson. There's a lot of stats. There's a lot of metrics out there that have shown that how he's really fallen off the last couple of years.
Yeah.
More turnover prone whether it's fumbles, interceptions, and a lot of that he had to let it rip. He had to let it rip to give his team a chance. So I get that. I'll take that into account, but that still doesn't deter from the fact that Russell Wilson's numbers and the ball security, all those things that matter so much to if a team's going to win or lose, especially in the NFL, has not been there for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Denver has put all their chips in the middle here saying we can get the Russ of old for at least 1 or 2 seasons.
That's what it all is. And for this game, just individually, Andy, I think one thing that's going to spell disaster for the Seahawks is their passing defense with Wilson, with pass catchers like Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, that could just do huge damage to these guys.
They got a good running back, too.
Javonte Williams.
Yes. And Gordon the third's still over there.
He is. Yeah. He's more of an afterthought now. But besides that, there's too many questions surrounding the Seahawks to have confidence in them, to bet on them. Can Geno be a competent quarterback? Is Rashad Penny the actual number one?
Is he? Yeah, I don't know about that.
Can the defense bounce back after one of the worst seasons of Seattle Seahawks defense of all time? Too many questions for me to put money on them. Not especially against Russell Wilson going back home. I think he's going to want to put on a show, and I think he does.
I think you're right, but what if, like we were talking about, this gets up to 7.5 or 8? Because 92% of the bets out there are pouring in on Denver right
For
now.
sure.
That's crazy.
Yes.
So that's going to drive that line up even more. What if it gets over that threshold? Let's say 7.5.
I do like it. I like Broncos all the way up to 10 in this game.
Wow.
Yep.
I
just don't have faith in Geno. I don't have faith in Geno.
I feel you, brother. All righty, so hop on Denver if the Parlay Pounder has anything to say about that.
Yes, sir.
All right, you heard the horn there. That means we're up against it. Let's take a quick minute to talk about one of our fabulous sponsors. That is the Nebraska Brewing Company. And it is the season.
Yes.
And it's my favorite beer, no kidding, Wick for Brains. It's our classic and painstakingly produced fall pumpkin ale. Instead of simply using spice, they use real pumpkin, which leads to a sweetness and a pumpkin flavor not found in many pumpkin ales. And a wonderful pumpkin spice intertwined with an amber ale creates a pumpkin sensation, which is elegantly crafted. No doubt, world class in every glass at the Nebraska Brewing Company. Right?
Yes.
I agree with everything I just said there.
Yeah,
it's my favorite beer.
It's all true.
There we go. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is WTL.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
Jabron.
the Parlay Pounder.
Yes, sir.
Jabron, we got to finish strong.
We got to finish
strong. We got to do it. We got to talk college football.
Yep.
And everybody's been waiting for it. What are we going to say about the Huskers?
Yep.
But we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
The Cy-Hawk Trophy.
The Cy-Hawk
Oh, my
game.
God. The prize among all prizes in college football. Iowa taking on Iowa State.
Yep.
Kinnick Stadium. 3:30 kickoff on BTN.
Yep.
Of course, that's in Iowa City. And it looks like, we got two teams that kind of underwhelmed in week one.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Iowa sitting there at a 3.5-point favorite as the home team, -150 money line with the over/under at 40.5 points, Andy.
Yeah, pretty low.
That is very low, especially for kind of a rivalry game. When people think about rivalries, they think about points and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The reason that is why that is, Andy, is Iowa State, to win this game, can't make mistakes. And that's easy to say, obviously, but in last season's Cy-Hawk game in Ames, Iowa, they beat themselves. They caused 4 turnovers in
Iowa took advantage of those turnovers.
Iowa took advantage of getting 20 of their 27 points off of those.
Yeah.
I really don't think that they're gonna, air it out again.
Yeah.
For Iowa, they need to forget what happened last week against South Dakota State.
Yikes. They still won the game,
They still won the game, but they did not look good. That's why that over-under is sitting at that 40.5 points, because Iowa only scored 7.
And if you didn't know any better, you're like, okay, so they scored a touchdown. Yeah.
No. Two safeties and a field goal. I don't know, Andy. I don't really know how to look at this right now.
So, and you're seeing movement. I'm just looking at a bunch of different books here.
Yeah.
So you're going from 3.5 to 4. So, I mean, shop it around if this is the game you want to look at here and you feel one way or the other. Interestingly enough, both teams are 1-0. So that's the most important thing. They both won their home openers.
Yep.
But both teams are 0-1 against the spread.
Yeah.
They're both 0-1 on the over-under.
Yes.
They smack the unders.
Yes.
So that's why you're seeing this off-base number of 3.5 or 4. They're just saying, I don't know, I guess go with the home team. I don't know.
That is what they're saying, Andy, and that with that 40 being there at the over-under, that is why that is so low, is because these two teams don't look like they can score a lot of points.
No.
And I'm agreeing with them, Andy, but I don't agree with the spread here. I think the wrong team is favored here.
Okay.
I am going with the Cyclones to win this game 20-17.
Oh.
So that I would jump on those points for the Cyclones, and that under 40.5. I really think that's going to smack.
If you can get that at 4.5, I'd be all over that.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you on that. Take the points. Don't know if I like Iowa State on the road to win outright, but I definitely like that 4.5.
I definitely like the points. And like we're saying on a couple games that we were talking about earlier in segments, that I think that this game is going to be decided by 3 points either which way. Whoever has the ball last, whoever can get across midfield and have a chance at a field goal. Doesn't make sense that Matt Campbell's first Cy-Hawk win could come on the road. It's
a rivalry game. These are wacky.
That's why rivalry games are so unpredictable. Yep. The Iowa offense is so weak. We've seen it. We've seen it dwindle beyond the years. We still can't beat them, but I really like the Cyclones in a close one here. A really close one, low scoring. Take the Cyclones.
All righty, I'll go with that with the Cyclones, and I'll bet it all the way up to that 3.5. Give me that hook, and I'll be all over.
Yes, sir.
The Cyclones as well. So let's move on to the main event as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
That is the Nebraska Cornhuskers taking on Georgia Southern, 6:30 on FS1. Yeah. Where are we at with this?
Well, the Nebraska Cornhuskers came in as right now sitting at 23.5 point favorites against Georgia Southern with a whopping over-under at 62.5 points.
Okay. It was 62.5 last week.
Are they going to do this to me again, Andy?
I was thinking about this. It's not that the Huskers are making us look bad. It's just early in the season, right?
You're right.
And the latter half of the Husker basketball season, when we kicked this thing off, and it was over, Super Bowl was over, so we started leaning on NCAA basketball.
Yes, sir.
I was having a lot of fun cheering for the Huskers, and all they had to do was cover. I knew they were going to lose, but they're going to cover that 17, that 12 points. How many games did they lose by 4 or 5, and the line was at 7 or more.
Yep.
So this is a spot where you can still cheer for the Huskers, but just you don't have to expect them to cover every big-time spread. Yeah.
No,
let's recalibrate our fandom here.
For sure, Andy. Georgia Southern, had a very good showing last week against Morgan State, putting up 59 points.
Yeah.
I would like to score 59 points at some point in the Husker career. I just really think this line is just a little bit inflated from Husker fans betting that we're gonna blow out somebody. We're gonna blow out somebody.
We gotta tamp that down.
I really don't like the 23.5 here. I think we might win by 17, maybe 21 points, but it's too far of a stretch for me to go 23.5, and I think that's why it's set right there. It's to trap Husker bettors into doing that. I really like us winning this game, winning it by 17, 21 points, but I do not like the 23.5.
Yeah, that's really stretched out. I was burned on it last week, thinking, okay,
for sure,
they can win by 3 scores plus against North Dakota. And the more you learned about North Dakota and the more we shared about North Dakota, you're thinking, this has some legs. This could come into fruition.
Definitely.
And then I'm sitting there with 9 minutes left in the third quarter, tied at 17.
Yes.
Thinking, gosh darn it, the old Cornhuskers are making me look bad again.
Yeah.
And worse than that, taking money out of my pocket.
Exactly.
So this is a prime spot. Okay, now we're 3 weeks in as far as the Huskers are concerned.
Yep.
Data points are starting to show, and we still need to figure out offense. And worse than that, the defense is leaking like a sieve.
Yeah, exactly, Andy. And, QB Casey Thompson's managed 193 yards and 2 scores with a pick.
Yeah.
Anthony Grant, oh, man.
That pick looked bad, too.
Yeah, it did look bad. But Anthony Grant has been the shining star of the Nebraska offense, obviously. Had a nice game on the ground with 189 rush yards and 2 touchdowns of his own. He has been a shining star of this team so far. I'm going to try Georgia Southern here, Andy, to cover this spread. The Eagles didn't have much trouble versus Morgan State in their opener, rattling off 504 yards, 26 first downs, and 6.5 yards per play. In 11 of 17 on third down, Andy.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern held the Bears just to 250 yards on the other side and came up with 4 turnovers, which really scares me that they could do that. Same thing to us, but it kind of tells me that they have a nose for the ball and can put up yards and points.
But they're an opportunistic defense where we're hoping we could be an opportunistic defense.
Exactly.
And I'm looking, and also say what you will about Clay Helton, but he's coached big time, and he's the coach of Georgia Southern here.
Yeah.
Former coach of USC, the Trojans. So he's not going to be overwhelmed coming to Lincoln or anything
for sure.
like that.
He's already been there.
And the Eagles are 1-0, 1-0 ATS, 1-0. Over/under. The Huskers are on the other side of that. They are 0-2 against the spread early on.
Yep.
That's why I'm saying those are the data points I'm looking at. That's why I'm saying I like that Georgia Southern covering here. Huskers going to win. I'm still bleeding red.
Heck yeah, go Big Red.
Yep, go Big Red, but I like Georgia Southern keeping it within 23 and a half some of these
23 and a half.
This is insane.
And this could get more inflated by the time, all the Husker guys get out to the books and bet on that, because I really think a lot of people are still entwined that we have to cover to win.
Casey Thompson.
No, I think there's a common misconception out there, Andy, that these Husker fans have to bet the spread to feel good about our football team. No. We have to cover. We don't have to cover. We have to win the game.
Yep.
And all things considered, I just don't trust the Cornhuskers enough to cover. I know that we're going to win. I know they're going to win by multiple scores, but I don't quite think it's going to be 23 and a half.
Yeah, 4 scores. No thanks.
Yep.
I'm on board with you right there. All right, we've been talking about it, for a few weeks now, and that's play action pools. We got a really fun game going on here with the college pick'em.
Yeah.
And we said we're going to shout some folks out. We're going to send some swag their way.
For sure.
Who's on top of the leaderboard here?
Our good friend from Lynch, Nebraska, Dustin Black.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's kind of a homer deal here, but yeah, he's sitting at top with 10.5 points on week 1, spreads. That's very good.
Excellent.
So we will be sending some swag out to him later this week, and everybody get in here.
Yeah.
Like we said, these you can catch up. Like, I'm only at 5.5 points right now, so if you just want to beat the parlay pounder, get in this week.
Yep.
You'll be able to catch me by the weekend. But what we really need people to get into right now is the NFL bankroll pool.
Yes.
This kicks off tomorrow night with the Los Angeles Rams versus the Buffalo Bills. It's so fun. We're going to be giving out weekly prizes.
Yep.
All the links are in our Twitter, our YouTube, our Facebook.
Yep.
Anything that you guys want to look at, you can find that link and get in for free. But it's at the end of the year, whoever's on top of these are going to get really good prizes. Some Husker tickets, some Chiefs tickets. It's all fun. It's all free.
Yep, and you make a great point. Just because you didn't get in week 1 or week 0, there's weekly prizes. Like, this is a continuous thing.
Yep.
And also with the bankroll, it's basically a virtual sports book.
Yes.
You get 10,000 credits. Let's call them Space Bucks.
Yeah.
I'm a Mel Brooks fan.
For sure.
Space Bucks, right?
There you go.
So you get a bankroll of 10,000 units, and you get to spend them any which way you want. So let's say you're a Buffalo Bills fan. Throw all 10,000 on them and hitting the over.
Yeah.
Week 1. Go for it.
You could double up or be out in week 1.
There you go. I mean, make it easy.
That means that people can get in whenever they want to. But you don't want to get in too late, because I'm going to already be stacking these coins, and it's going to be good. Like we said, it's all free. It's just for fun, guys, and there are some really, really great prizes and nice swag stuff that we're going to be sending out weekly to people.
Go to playactionpools.com. put in the code WTL. It'll take you right to our 2 games. You'll get in for free, have a lot of fun, and get shout-outs on the air like Dustin Johnson, is that?
Dustin Black.
Dustin Black. Congratulations, old Dustpan there.
Yep.
Leading after week 1 with those 10 points. And this isn't overwhelming. Like with the college pick'em, it's just the Big 10. It's just the Big 12.
Yep.
So basically 14 games a lot of times per week. You don't have to pick 133 or any of that type of jazz.
Just in our 2 realms, the Big 12, the Big 10. Picking against the spread, and it really, both of these things really, Andy, get you into that kind of sports betting mind without actually putting money on it. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with kind of, trying to get people in the mood to do it, but not actually putting money on it so they're comfortable when they go to the sports book.
Exactly, and with casinos and everything on the way and sportsbook, on the horizon here in Nebraska, that's exactly what we're trying to do is throw a little bit of the educational point into it. And this is a great learning place, especially with like you said, the bankroll, and you don't have to get crazy.
No.
There's no risk, and you could just bet over-unders, you could just point spreads, you could money lines. Just do outright bets if you want.
Yep.
I have nothing against it, and it's a great way to learn, no doubt about it. So
yes, sir.
You heard the horn, so that means we're up against it. We're going to have to call it a week here, but not until we take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is, guess who? PlayActionPools.com. They are revolutionizing group hosting platforms. Make it your new spot for all your football contest needs. Play today at PlayActionPools.com. And folks, don't be afraid to work in the WTL code and get into our 2 games for free.
Yes, sir.
For the Parlay Pounder, Jabron, my name is Andy Klassen. You've been listening to WTL. Where's the line? Thanks, folks. We'll catch up with you next week.